uno more seconds.
Okay.
And it starts the second recording. Because last week's episode was horrific. Because I uploaded a messed up file. All right, and off we go. You guys get to see, you on YouTube, you get to see how the sausage is made.
Yummy sausage.
And away we go.
TPE Network. Fun yet informative podcasts.
Hello and welcome to Mouse House Plus, episode 44. Oh, you gotta love that. You gotta love the symmetrical nature of 4-4. I am Hank.
And I am John. Are we really at 44?
It seems like we should be at like 404.
I'm trying to think of everything that we've done it on. Jeez.
WandaVision, Loki.
Wow. Didn't realize there's that many episodes.
Falcon. Yeah, these 6 episodes add up after a while. All right, are you ready to get into episode 3, Echoes?
Absolutely.
Let's go. 2007, we're in a classroom with Maya, who is deaf. And then we see her with her dad later on. She wanted to go to a school with other deaf children. And they have a great conversation about that. And then we get thrust into her karate class where we see now she has the prosthetic as well as being deaf. And she destroys her opponent, which looked eerily like one of my nephews when he was a kid. And then we fast forward to her training with some partner and just dismantling this individual. And we get another memory to wrap things up where it's a Ronin taking out her father and group. John, did you like how truncated they made this whole scene, group of scenes?
Yeah, actually, I did. At first, when I was watching it, I didn't know what was going on. I completely forgot we're going to be dealing with Echo this episode. And then, but how quickly we went through things, and also like his description of things to her, which was perfect. And it was all kinds of things that just kept connecting to the MCU. So, like, for example, like her father makes that comment about how dragons exist. They don't just exist in our world, but when they come to our world, then they're more powerful. So we have now seen that in Shang-Chi, which would be official, but we've also seen that same thing in the Defenders whenever they were going after the dragon bones, showing that there was a dragon that was at least present on Earth. So it's again making another connection that this realm does exist.
She seems so much like the Defenders version of Elektra to me. That's who she reminded me of a little bit of.
Trying to remember oh yeah. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Okay. Sorry, Elektra wasn't clicking for whatever reason.
You were like, Jennifer Garner? Nope, wrong. Hawkeye and Kate are riding horses. Oh my goodness. One of the Tracksuit Mafia guys buys Imagine Dragons tickets for his girlfriend, but he's not even going to get to go. And Kate's going to give him some advice. Did you think this was too over the top, stupid, silly, or did you have fun with it like I did?
No, I had fun with it. I liked it. I like the fact that they were just trying to get humor over putting quarters in and watching them ride it and make fun of it. Then I saw, like, as soon as they were done, they're like, let's go play cards. And just rolled out. But yeah, like, her like dropping that hit, because I mean, she's a 20-something girl. That's all she's full of, like, useful information on relationships. So
oh, now in comes modern day Echo. And did you notice how quickly she observed Hawkeye's hearing aid and assumed he was like totally deaf, I thought.
Yeah, no, I noticed that too, and I actually didn't realize that without it he was basically deaf. I thought that one ear was shot, and then the other ear was better than this one. Not realizing that both of them are shot, and only the one ear is kind of okay enough for a hearing aid. So, yeah. Oh yeah, that's kind of brutal when he went through all that, and then her giving the advice, "You do better without it," and he's like, "Nah," but. It's an interesting like a point of view. You're looking at someone who was raised right, but shouldn't have been in the criminal world necessarily. And here's somebody else that was raised right, ended up being basically military, and they have different opinions about how they view the world. It's kind of like how we ended up looking at whatever her name was, who was in charge of the Flag Smashers.
Oh yeah, yes, good one.
So like we're getting to be able to relate to her better than the Tracksuit guys.
Right. Hawkeye says Ronan is dead, and then he promptly gets out of the duct tape and runs to buy Kate some time to get away. Now, did you feel like they were a little naive that they're not putting together Hawkeye and Ronan?
I think that yes, everyone. I think she's naive. Everyone's like get the picture. People don't go cleaning up after other people. Typically, it's that person who's cleaning up after themselves.
Right. And I just thought they kind of made them look silly when they did that. Just my opinion.
You know what? I agree, because I'm sitting there thinking like, why aren't you just figuring this out? It is really not that hard.
No.
I mean, you could just throw out a BS guess. That's all you would need to do.
Right.
And then you just watch his reaction. Although he always does play cool, but probably with her, he would have some sort of tell and she'd be able to figure it out.
Hawkeye and Maya battle it out, and she knocks his hearing aid out. And then once he gets his arrows, it's on. So he does the fall arrow shoot into a ball pit.
Yep. And after that one, and the other one that we get is his mirror image from the first Avengers movie jumping off of that building. So, but what about the moment here where they're asking who killed Ronan, and then they're like, Black Widow killed Ronan, and then they're like, oh, that's convenient, Black Widow's dead too, so there's nobody to take this. And he was like,
which is smart,
yeah.
on his part, to try to clean things up in that manner. And I think what's going to happen in upcoming episodes is going to help move that story along.
I want to back up just a little bit to one of her flashbacks. So when her dad basically touches her face with a bloody hand, and while he's in the process of dying, that is supposed to be a call out to her comic book version. So that's
she has that print on her face.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. The foot stab was amazing. But oh my gosh, that just made me cringe, even though it was really cool that he stabbed two dudes in the feet, and it was like, oh my gosh, that is awful.
Yeah, people expect getting hit in the torso or in the shoulder. No one ever thinks about getting hit in the foot. It hurts. It hurts a hell of a lot.
Kate was doing fine, allegedly, but Hawkeye cleans up the mess. She was fighting. I love that they don't make her so OP. I love that. It's just a small nuance, but it is realistic to me.
Well, and also she has that 20-something arrogance with her.
Yeah.
So which makes her a more believable character, because she just says stuff and you're like, you're really not thinking about what you're saying.
Right.
But I know this is a character. They can just write it that way. I'm just happy that the actress is playing the role correctly.
Hawkeye is against smashing a 72 Challenger. Instead, he hot wires that big old jalopy.
Oh.
Now, is that from the comics?
Yes, actually, well, not that transaction, but the jalopy is.
Yes.
Not the jalopy. Sorry, the
challenge.
The Challenger is. You know what? Listen, when he went up to that, I was like, oh, don't break the window on the Challenger. And then when he skipped by it, he's like, I'm not gonna mess up. And he knew the date. I think it was 73 or 76 Charger, like right from the get go. And I'm like, that's my man right there. And
72.
Up a car, and then there at the end, and it all gets smashed up. He's like, I got beat the crap out of anyway.
Yeah. 72 Challenger. All right, so oh my gosh, one of my favorite Trust a Bro van. The Trust a Bro van is awesome, man.
Thank you for writing that down because I was going to say the same thing. That is hilarious. It just still goes along with last week's episode where they just keep on throwing bro out to each other all the time. And it's so prominent that it's the name of the company on their van.
And if they win an award for how many times an actor says bro in the span of like 5 minutes, I'm all for it. They should win some sort of award.
Guinness Book of World Records for how many times bro is mentioned in
bro,
series.
bro. I was like, oh my gosh, these bros had better chill the heck out, man.
Nice.
Trick arrow time was fun. They are not regular arrows. And the first one I call bad animation arrow with the terrible purple fuzzy whatever it was.
Oh yeah, the when he was like at the gummy stuff and he was like shoot that at the wheels.
It was goofy, but it hit the windshield and they were trying to get it off. That purple goo.
I mean, yeah, this whole scene with them driving, with her yelling at him and then him not hearing her, but then yelling the same things back to her. Like when they're driving backwards and she was like, this would work better if we're turning around. He was like, it would work better if we're turning around. He's like, yeah. and spin around. And then this is all great. He just keeps handing her arrows and he's like, suction
Not this
cup.
one.
Yeah.
Not this one.
Yeah.
But
not this one. Not this
I'm gonna
one.
go through them. We had
go ahead.
We had the multiple grappling arrow. So that's
Mhm.
like the to me, that reminded me of like Fast and Furious when they are harpooning cars and and
That was cool.
and
And just
stuff.
grabbing all the trees and bringing it in. That was really
Yes.
cool.
And then acid arrow.
Yep. Which, by the way, I didn't see a point in because she took out the lights and they still followed them. Why didn't she turn around and shoot that at a vehicle and just melt the engine away?
Who knows? Then we had purple smoke arrow.
Yeah.
We had my favorite arrow that had PIM technology. And it's like going and just all of a sudden it's this gigantic arrow. Oh, that is so awesome.
I made lots of noise when that happened. Wait, hold on a second. But what about the and then we get the USB air and
Yep.
there you go. That's your call out to the What If series.
That was awesome because do you think they legit planned that?
Yeah, I think
to tie that in. Okay.
Yeah.
Or was it just a funny, lucky coincidence?
I mean, it's possible it could be a coincidence, but I really don't think so. I think that they were like, I mean, because you got to go down the line. What kind of arrows can he have? What arrows have we not seen him use? And what have we seen him use in the comic books? And then they're gonna be like, oh wait, didn't he just use one over in the what ifs? Or they could be like, we're planning on using this over in the what ifs. Go ahead and use it over here too. It's all supposed to be connected, so I would like to think that that's what's going on.
And it's utterly ridiculous when you think about it, you know. And I love how it hit the guy.
It just falls off.
Wait a minute.
Well, and here's the thing, and it gets me. It's still an arrow, and it's still coming at full speed. So that shouldn't have just went. Dunk, it shouldn't have just bounced off him like that. It should have at least probably stuck him a little bit.
Right.
Just not gone
through his chest.
Yeah.
And then plunger arrow time when they jump off the bridge. That animation was bad though. You got to admit. The CGI.
You know what?
Kind of hokey.
I'm okay with it.
And you know what? We should probably walk the dog.
Yep. We should walk. Hey, you know what? We should probably walk the dog. It hasn't been out in a while.
That was outstanding.
So, we got another call out of Rogers the musical. We saw that billboard as the train was going by it. So, I mean, they are not stopping with that. And of course, we're probably going to end up seeing it in Spider-Man.
Oh, goodness. Oh.
Well, I think that so there we already know because of the trailer. There's a scene where they're going to be on the Statue of Liberty, right? Statue of Liberty is going to have a big shield. I have a feeling that this is a promotional piece for the movie. So I mean, for not the movie, the
musical,
Rogers musical.
That is epic. Can't wait for that. At the safe house, Clint's phone rings, but he can't hear his son. It's Nathaniel. And Nathaniel is bored, and Kate helps translate the conversation back and forth. And I was like, well, that was a real buzzkill.
Well, the thing that gets me is he said that everyone else was still asleep and he woke up. So if it's evening there, where's his family at?
Ooh, that's a good one.
They're in New York, and I thought that they were close to New York, but I mean, this makes it sound like it's way off somewhere else. So now I'm kind of I got to figure that out.
Yeah, that's a good one. All right, the Tracksuit Mafia are moving because the location is compromised, and Kazi and Maya talk, but she doesn't listen now. She's like, "Who's in charge again?" And I think that's the first crack in their little group that we've seen, because that's gonna come back, in my opinion.
Well, yes, I agree. Sorry, I was going to go into something else, but maybe I'll just wait until the end. So,
And then it was like, I hope Uncle won't find out. And who is this ominous uncle? Because remember, the uncle was going to pick her up from karate class as well.
okay. I've got my my 2 cents here. I can either throw it in now, or if you want to do, it's more than likely going to be a spoiler. I don't
Okay,
have the
we can do
exact
that.
proof of it, but I think I'm right.
We can do it at the end then.
Okay.
So good thing they call him Hawkeye and not Hawk Ear. Oh goodness.
Oh, what about the branding picture? She ended up drawing the exact Hawkeye costume with the H on the. What's the H for? Hawkeye.
And I'm the only one, I think, that liked that as a kid. I like that outfit.
I mean, I don't mind it. I don't like the H. I don't like it when people put like the obvious things. Like, for example, Superman. I mean, I thought that was dumb when they did the movie, the more recent movie, it was more like every family from Krypton had a symbol that was in some way like shaped kind of like that. That I like that. That made sense because now it's a family crest, not necessarily representing Superman, but it's representing his family. But then they could just double it as that. That kind
Right.
of stuff I'm okay with. When you blatantly put an H on someone's forehead because you want to make sure everyone knows that he's Hawkeye, even though he's the only one shooting arrows, that's kind of dumb.
Over food, Kate talks, but Clint can't hear her, which is probably for the best. Kate says her dad was fearless. Are we going to get more on her dad, do you think, in these final 3 episodes?
I don't think so, but
Ooh.
I would like to be proven wrong because I wouldn't mind hearing more about him.
Okay. And then Hawkeye tries to relay to her that there are sacrifices when you try to help people. Do you think that's going to sink in over these next 3 episodes?
No, because not unless someone close to her dies, and then it'll make sense.
Ooh. Oh, that's foreshadowing. Could be the mom or something.
Well, I mean, it's whenever these lessons are laid out, and it's just like all of us in life. You don't know what's bad until it actually happens to you, regardless if someone tells you or not.
Maybe a multiverse version of Uncle Ben will come in and.
Well, I mean, to me, I'm thinking it might be something like the dog.
Oh, don't say that.
Well, I mean, because then you're not killing off a family member and you're only introduced to this. By the way, yeah, and we got the naming of the dog after Hawkeye was riding on her butt. You really got to give him a name. You just can't keep calling him dog, which, by the way, Pizza Dog is still basically calling it dog. Or are you just calling it pizza?
Right. In the comics, his name was Lucky, wasn't it?
No, I think in the comics it was Pizza Dog.
No, I think his name was actually Lucky. I think, and he was actually Clint's dog that he found.
Okay,
that helped him out.
I will go and look.
All right, Clint doesn't understand the butterscotch reference. Why didn't she take a moment to explain that?
Because she was rushing and getting every single thing out. I do that all the time. And then I have to stop and be like, hold on, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Let me go back and give you a reference. But that's all it was. That's just like almost like an ADD excitement thing. You get all the information just blah, vomited out of your brain, and then you're like, oh crap, none of that makes any sense. So
Right. So Bishop Security break-in time. And I was like, finally, something that's gonna make sense. And then Hawkeye asks about Armand III's death. And inside the files, they're getting information on Kazi, but not Jack, the mom's boyfriend. And then Jack pulls the Ronin sword and puts it on Clint's neck as we go off the air. Did you feel cheated, John?
I did. I was like, there was one of those, that's the end. And the other thing too is I was actually expecting him to just be looking down at the sword, and because it should have ended with him looking down the sword and saying, "Where did you get that?" That would have made it even more intense in the situation, because not only is he being threatened, but now it's his own weapon and he wants to know, how was that found?
I think he already knows that they had that auction, though, correct? She
Um,
told him that, I
well, yeah,
believe.
she did, but she didn't say anything
Not
about
the
the
sword.
sword.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so it says fans might be able to see the MCU version of Pizza Dog soon. His name is Pizza Dog.
His name is Lucky.
His
You're
name is
not
Pizza.
you're not looking in the right spot, buddy.
I'm not. There's a line right
All
here.
right,
Oh, all right.
feedback time. Hi, Hank and John. Kate is getting on my last nerve. She's more concerned about Hawkeye helping her get rid of her mom's boyfriend than making sure Hawkeye gets back to his kids in time for Christmas. Here she says, I want to root for Cassie, but I think she means Maya. So I'm just going to insert Maya because I think that's what she means. I want to root for Maya since she is also super talented, but has a tragic backstory with none of Kate's privilege. Thanks, Elizabeth. Elizabeth, thanks for sending that in. Did you get the sense that she was kind of just glossing over Clint's problems and family concerns?
I mean, from a viewer perspective, I can see where that makes sense. But, as a character in the thing, it's not like Clint's really even explaining anything to her at all. The only thing he said so far is that he needs to get home to, to his family. And she's finding out all these bits and pieces about the things he's missing with his family because he's helping her as they happen. So I don't know. I mean, I can see both sides of it. It totally makes sense, but I think that she's playing the naive part. She has a goal and mission in mind, and you're right. She's not asking him, well, what about you? But he's not giving any information up either. So it's not like he's putting the brakes on everything.
What do you think about potentially rooting for Maya?
I mean, I like her. And she's actually a huge character in the comics. So I mean, if they don't expand with her, keep her around, then I'm going to be at a loss here. All right, it says that it's. I think we're both right. It says Lucky the Pizza Dog.
That's his name, is Lucky.
The Pizza Dog.
She nicknamed him Pizza Dog because that's what he ate. All right. We got one more piece of feedback, and this one's from Russ. Hi, Hank and John. Thanks for recapping the episodes for us. I think that so far the best thing the Hawkeye show has done has been its great character development. I thought the first couple of minutes where they gave us the background on Maya was outstanding this week, and they did a nice job with Kate in the first 2 episodes. My biggest complaint with this episode, which I'd like your opinion on, is the hapless Tracksuit gang. In my opinion, when the bad guys are portrayed as funny and inept, which this group is, with the exception of Maya, it makes the stakes feel less important. Why do we care if they are trying to capture Kate or the Ronin if they are just a bunch of bumbling fools? What are your thoughts? Does that take away from the show or make it feel less important in your opinion? Keep up the good work. And that's Russ. Russ, always great to hear from you. Thank you. John, what do you think?
I mean, considering that we had to deal with gangs called like the Hatchet Gang, and they ran around, I'm okay with Tracksuit Mafia, because I mean they're just gonna come up with like crazy names for all these, and all these groups do exist, and there's even more sillier ones than that. I mean, what was the one that the Defenders always ran into all the time?
The Hand?
No, it wasn't like Work something. Where it's those guys that are like basically like super strong, and then they just kind of like take construction stuff and smack people around with. I've seen them in a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about.
I mean, it's like those guys. They're like, I mean, they're super powered, but they're like just dumb as hell. So
Goofy.
just like,
They're goofy.
You're like,
yeah.
what are you guys doing?
They are goofy. Yes, because it was like Absorbing Man and all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were like you said, construction workers. I think it is lightening the mood of the episodes, but I understand what he says. Like, it's almost like when you sent regular Cobra troops to go capture some prominent G.I. Joe character. It's ridiculous because they're just idiots and they can't do anything. That's why they introduced the Crimson Guard to step it up a notch and to not make a bunch of bumbling idiots. But they still turned into that over time. But I think Russ makes a great point on that. It could go either way. It depends on how you view it. I like them just because they are taking something that's kind of heavy in some points and making light of everything. It just makes it more fun when you see the big smile you're moving truck coming with a big smiley face on it. Trust a bro moving company. You're just like, that's absolutely ridiculous, but thank you for lightening the mood.
Sorry, I'm thinking about that truck again.
I love that truck. Oh, goodness. If only. So, Russ, there you have it, and we'll have to leave her right there. John, do you want to go into the spoiler zone?
Yes.
All right. Hey, gang, you can catch us every Friday, barring any emergencies, of course. You can catch us Fridays, but have your feedback in by noon on Friday, Eastern Standard Time, please. We appreciate your support. But if you don't like spoilers, we'll catch you next week on episode 45. But if you don't mind them, you've been warned. All right, John, what do you have to put behind here?
All right, so all of this is again leading to what I was talking about last week with us showing Vincent Unfreeze. I can't say his last name right. The Kingpin. So what happens is in the comic books, we know that actually Echo's father is she loses her father in the beginning, and then she's raised by Kingpin, and that's how she ends up with her fighter prowess. So in this case, when her father keeps on referring to her uncle, see, doesn't just happen to me. You okay? Okay, so her father keeps referring to another person as uncle that will be picking her up from karate class after he dies, and she continues with all of her training and everything. We also hear that the Tracksuit Mafia guys are talking about the fat guy in charge. And also there is, it's just, there's too many Wilson Fisk things being dropped right now to not think that it's Wilson Fisk is the person who is basically above all the Tracksuit Mafia guys. I mean, remember, they're like, what about the big guy? And they're like, don't talk about that. So it's, to me, it keeps looking like it's him. The Kingpin is part of this. He's that. It's either that or it's Mephisto. Thank you. Listen, I'll be here all weekend. Don't forget to tip your waitress.
That is outstanding. Oh my gosh. Miss Mephisto in a freaking white suit. Now I'll turn my TV off and go play in traffic if that happens.
Just be like,
oh my
in that
goodness.
one podcast, being like, all right, I'm done. It was Mephisto all along. I'm done.
We're out of here. Oh my goodness.
So, but no,
that would be great.
It really, it's somebody is in charge of this group. And we already know that he has been toying around with the fact that, he wanted to be back in the MCU. The MCU people wanted to have him back in it. And we heard that apparently he was back. And this really is starting to sound like him, because what other Kingpin, or it's like, okay, the role of Kingpin, what other Kingpins do we have in the area that they're in New York? There isn't really too many more like head honcho masterminds of all these different groups.
No, great one. Great. Find and call out. The only other thing I want to say is Florence Pugh still no. Our worst nightmare has come true, John. That's what I was afraid of, is they're gonna just jam pack her at the very last minute, and that's what's gonna happen. That sucks.
Well, I mean, what happens if I don't know how this would tie to another show or movie though, because I'm trying to think of like what happens if they ended it where a movie would pick up. But that doesn't make any sense because we know everything that's coming up as of late. I mean, it would be almost a year to 2 years away.
Right. That would be
So,
horrible.
I mean, and I'm already annoyed over the fact that they cut Loki like they did with, without the multiverse of madness being, almost right up against it. So,
Yep. All right. Anything else?
no, I appreciate you giving me the chance to record later because of work and other things around here. I
Right.
thank you very much, Hank.
Awesome. Thank you for carving out the time. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
Jam-packed a lot into a short amount of time. Once again, if you're listening to this, we greatly appreciate you tuning in. I had a little faux pas with last week's episode, the audio quality. I have fixed it since, but it doesn't do you any good now because it's already time for the new episode. But I replaced that file for those of you who ever go back and do a re-listen for any tidbit or anything like that. So sorry about that, and I'll keep a better eye on it going forward. But for John, I'm Hank. Until the next time, we're signing off.
Bye, everybody.
TPE Network. There ain't nothing else like it.